Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, insights. And insights are kind of my stock in trade. Not so much the insights that I have, but facilitating insights in my clients. And that's really what all of these Caffeine for the Souls are about, is just an attempt to spark, to catalyze fresh, new thought in you, the person listening. Because it is your insights. It is what you see for yourself to be true that will change the game for you in your life. It doesn't matter what I know. It doesn't matter what you know intellectually. It's what you really see that changes the game. And a simple example of that is smoking. I don't think I have ever met anyone who doesn't intellectually believe that smoking is bad for them. But in one study that I saw, 97 out of 100 people continue to smoke after going to the doctor and being told that they need to stop. So knowing smoking is bad for you doesn't do anything. Now, the people I know who've quit easy, and what I mean by quit easy is they just stopped one day. And if it was a big deal, it was a big deal for like a week. They got it. They had an insight into the effect that smoking was having on them. They saw it as being in control of them in a way they didn't like. They saw it as killing them in a way that they didn't like. And they just stopped. Now understand, this is not a tirade against smoking. This is just pointing to the fact that you can intellectually know things and it has no influence on your behavior. But the second you really see something, the behavior changes in a heartbeat. So I often use the metaphor of drinking wine. So you're drinking wine and you love drinking wine and you know you probably shouldn't drink so much wine, but just a glass of wine is it's so lovely and you feel so relaxed afterwards. And socially, it makes things easier. And then one day you realize, oh crap, that's not wine I've been drinking. That's poison. Well, suddenly it's not hard to stop drinking it. It's not going to take a battle of wills. You're not going to have to go through a reconditioning program. If you really see insightfully that you're drinking poison, you're going to stop drinking it. But as long as it's a good idea and you really should, well, then you're having to wrestle with your own psychology. So, since insight is what changes the game, a really good question is, how do I have more insights? And I want to share just a couple of metaphors that I have found helpful in living more insightfully. And the first is butterflies. I don't know if you've ever been to a butterfly room. I think the first one I ever went to was in the Boston Science Museum. And then I went to another one more recently in the Singapore airport. But basically, it's a room of whatever size filled with butterflies. And what everyone who goes in really wants is for a butterfly to land on them and then to get their picture taken. Well, there's a very simple strategy. The first is you got to be where the butterflies are, which means it's much more likely to happen inside the room than outside the room. And the second is you can't run around chasing it. If you hang out where the butterflies are, they'll just land on you because that's what butterflies do. And I remember one client who really was struggling to make sense of the kinds of things that I was talking about. He had a lot of his own training and theories and in different psychologies. And as is often the case, when someone quiets down, fresh thought comes to mind. They begin to have more insights. They stop looking in their own thinking. They stop looking in the past. They stop looking in their database They stop looking for butterflies outside the room where the butterflies are. And they look within. They look to quiet. They look to stillness. And sure enough, the butterflies start to land. And it was very interesting because I remember he sent me a text one day and it just said, "The butterfly has landed." And he'd had an insight, a game changer, where he really got, oh, this is just how the mind works. Now here's another metaphor. When I lived in London, I was on the 31 bus route in Swiss Cottage. Anyone who lives in that part of London will know the 31. And there was an expression about the 31 bus. There may be that same expression about many other bus routes, which was, the 31 bus, you don't see one for hours, and then three of them come along in 5 minutes. Well, that always struck me as a pretty good metaphor for insights too. You don't know exactly when the bus is coming, though I think now they do actually have timers on those things, but they didn't back when I was there. You don't know when the bus is coming. You don't know how many buses are going to come along, but if you hang out at the bus stop, buses showing up is pretty inevitable. Whereas if you go looking for the bus, even if you see one, it's very rare that you come across it at a point where it'll stop for you. So, what's the bus stop for insight? It's your own quiet. It's that space in you before thought. That space in you beyond thought. It's the unknown. In other words, beyond the known. Before everything you already think. That's where you're going to see something new. And so, if you want to have more insights, it's not that they can't happen at any time, anywhere. It's just that they're more likely to happen when you quiet down, when you settle down, when you let them come to you, and when you recognize you can let all that other traffic go through your mind because you're just hanging out, waiting for the next bus to come along, and when it comes along, it will take you places. And that's the beauty of insight. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.